When you are talking about security, security is more better in Nigeria, whether you like it or not. We have, during the time of Ambassador, we have seen about ethnics fighting all the time.
But this was what this present administration promised, that they will put a stop to all of that.
It is not. It cannot be totally. It cannot be totally stopped, whether you like it or not.
On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this administration honestly, without any bias?
You are not going to rate President
Bola
Tinubu, when you are talking about security matter. You are going to rate them state by state.
Do you think the APC has done well in fulfilling what it said it will do in 2023?
Yeah, I think he has done a lot when you are talking about.
So let me call to mind. Let me call to mind before you go on. Insecurity. The president said we were going to strengthen the military and security agencies, improve the intelligence and technology, and defeat terrorism, banditry, and other forms of insecurity. And I'm not saying this is the only thing they promised, but this was one of the promises. But we've seen the case in the country where terrorism, banditry, kidnapping has spiked in the last few years, and we understand why. But tell us, is this also to say that the president has not done well, because we've not seen this in reality?
When you are talking about security, security is more better in Nigeria, whether you like it or not. We have, during the time of Ambassador, we have seen about ethnics fighting all the time.
But this was what this present administration promised, that they will put a stop to all of that.
It is not. It cannot be totally. It cannot be totally stopped, whether you like it or not. When you are talking about when you are talking about United States of America, we have seen the situation that it is not even about terrorists. It is about the people sometimes who are deranged, who went to different schools and be shooting people. By the time, if you can be able to consult your Google and find out problematic places that are not secure, that you can have these kind of killings, you are going to have about 10 or 11 or 12 states in America before you can be able to talk about Nigeria. And when you are talking about the security problem we are having in Nigeria, it is more secular to some state. It is not what you are having in Southeast is different from what you are having in South.
I beg to differ.
What you are having in Southwest is different. Yes.
I beg to differ on that, because
why?
Just the same way we've always said, oh yeah, banditry, kidnapping is always a thing of the North. Now recently, it came to Kwara and it came to Oyo State. It's only a matter of time before it gets to every other part of the country.
But the problem, the question we must ask ourselves is that was the problem not nipped in the bud?
Which was the problem?
In the one that came to your state? The people were rescued.
But why don't we have the same replicated across the regions?
Okay, when you are talking about, we are not having the same geographical strength. We are not having the same, the way we try as much as possible to provide the security. I remember during the time of Buhari, when Engineer Shebakinde went to Lagos and said we are having a lot of problems, and he asked them, he told them how they can, as a military, when he was there, it has seen the way, the program they have made when you are talking about how to combat security. He said it must start from the local government. People, the local government chairman or those who are in charge of local government must be able to be doing interaction with different community all the time. And they will be able to identify the stranger in their midst. Even the so-called stranger in their midst are always having a seat when you are talking about security matter. And this question can be debated among them. He asked those governors, are they doing the same? And they cannot be able to answer the questions. Because it is, for every problem, there is always a solution. When you are talking about the Southwest, they can be able to identify what is happening in the local government. And when the problem started, they can be able to pick some people who are in alliance with those who are in the forest. So, for every problem, there is always a solution. When you get to a concerning community, almost all of them know each other. And they are surveying what everybody are doing. Whether you are a carpenter, whether you are a farmer, whether you are a technician, no matter what you do, they identify you, they know you.
I think I see the point you're making, and I kind of understand where you're coming from. But again, should we say the president, Bola Tinubu, did not first consider that there are peculiarities before making the statement that I will put an end to banditry and insecurity in the country? Did he not check into the terrain, the geographical terrain of the northern state to say, oh, it might be difficult, but we might try something? But because he said he was going to do this, so it's word against the Nigerian people's word.
No, it is not against the Nigerian people, because you seriously, President Tinubu cannot come to our state and solve the problem all the time. He came when it's come to this, when with Amotekun and what all the Southwest governors have demanded for. They cannot be able to solve the solution with all our architect of vigilante and all of them. They are even in connive with the criminals. Now, Engineer Shemakinde was making he was telling people that when he become president, he's going to nip the ball. And he cannot know, he doesn't even know what is going on in his state. He has promised them a lot of things, all the surveillance aircraft that has been promised about a year ago. Nobody sees it. And when the president came, he was able to solve the problem. But mind you, if he wasn't called, he doesn't have the right to come to your state. He must be called. He must be informed before he can be able to come, because all the states have their sovereignty, whether you like it or not. They can be able to do. They have been given a lot of responsibility for them to be able to do. But a lot of them have deviated from this responsibility and doing something else. A lot of them has been involved and are really embedded with political mindset instead of governing the state, and that is what is causing all the problem. So now, when you are talking about security matter, the president is doing well enough, and even when some things are even beyond him, he has called for the assistance of the United States of America. He doesn't even want to call for it. But when his administration was being taunted to be a Muslim state and trying to wipe out the Christian, he has sought out for United States help, and they have helped him in those instances. And what we have seen a kind of progress in that in that particular sector.
All right, I think you've made your point valid, but let me I will ask you for maybe to put a scorecard, to put a number to it. But before then, just this morning, Sokoto government has reacted to a fresh Lakurawa attack. That's not enough. 2 shots as troops foil attempted mass abduction in Zamfara state. That's coming from the military. Plateau attack, 24 victims received mass burial amid protests. And that's also, I could go on and on and on. But you've said this administration is trying to do what it can do. And it's trying to do its best to ensure that insecurity is nipped in the bud, like you mentioned. But give me a score to it. On a scale of 1 to 10, what would you rate this administration honestly, without any bias?
You are not going to rate President Bola Tinubu when you are talking about security matter. You are going to rate them state by state, because this is not what is being done in the state of America. They are going to rate the crime in each state according to that state, because they all have a percentage of crime being committed in different states.
But do you say, does that mean that the president does not have any chance? You are not going to lay the burden on the president. They have not laid the burden. But it was the one that gave a promise.
It is he might do it. He might do that in consultation with the state governors. Like I'm saying to you, they are not going to say, when you are talking about London has a mayor. Manchester has a mayor. Birmingham has a mayor. Liverpool has a mayor. And why do they put this mayor in place? It's not because they don't have different councils, but they knew that they must be able to work in tandem with somebody in the air. And the crime rate in the when you are talking about Lagos metropolitan, it's different from Manchester, it's different from Birmingham, it's different from any other person. Now, you are not going to lay the entire blame on President Tinubu. You know the security. The security challenge we have been having in Nigeria start from Plateau State during the time of Obasanjo, when all of them are killing each other. Is always section. What is happening in Plateau State for the last 26 years is still happening. We have seen a situation that when they are doing some mass burial, and even another sect attack those who are doing the burial, and they killed a sitting senators. You asked to do this according to the state.
But just like you mentioned,
and how the president is helping all those states to nip the problem in the bud.
Okay, Honorable, I think before we go on, I could just I want us to move very fast, but I think it's very important that because Nigerians are losing their lives every day, and that's not acceptable. That's not acceptable. So you mentioned the United States, for example. I don't like to delve into international politics, but for some reason, when the whole issue of the Strait of Hormuz happened, there is a sect of people, in particular, a lot of people, even at their legislative arm, did not believe the United States president should carry on with that attack and all of that in Iran and all of that. So some did not still agree to what what his proposition was, but he was able to do because he had the federal might. He had the power. He had the veto power to say, this is what we are doing as a country. Why has the president, Bola Tinubu, not vetoed that power on insecurity? Or does he not have federal might?
Veto, that is, you know, when we in that regard, let's compare United States of America with Nigeria. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is from Southwest, he's Yoruba. When you are talking about Igbo, when you are talking about Hausas, with what he's doing, some people have been giving a kind of Arewa and some of the different sects, organization from the north have been giving it a kind of another, they have twisted it entirely. Saying probably Bola Ahmed Tinubu, because the Yoruba man, he wanted to wipe out the so-called Hausas. That is why he invited United States of America to come and throw a kind of bomb in some place. I think in Sokoto State. And some elite, despite the fact that they are having those challenges, they are not coming out to condemn it. We have seen what happened when you are talking about Oyo State. During the time of Oburire, the elite, even the young ones, are tweeting it all the time. And they are placing it on social media. Are they doing it in the north? That is another. So if he wants to section or sanction anything, he must be able to work with the northerners, who are the leaders. Because you cannot just go there and slap their faces. I remember during the time of Jonathan, he consulted them, he asked them so many questions all the time. In Nigeria, the first governor that was relinquished when we are talking about state of emergency, it was this vice president when he was governor of Borno State. He called Jonathan. He said he cannot be able to handle all this insecurity. And he said that they must declare state of emergency. And he left the seat for the military administrator to do. It was the first one. In Ekiti State, it was Obasanjo that drove away Fayose. It was not that Fayose intentionally submits, say, for Ekiti to be declared a state of emergency too. So now, you cannot just go in there and say because they are fighting and do something that you are not invited to do. So that is the problem. That is why you see when the issue of Orire, the president doesn't even involve just like that. He was invited, he was called for. When he called for, you cannot just do anything the way you like it. In the East, when they are having the problem of IPOB, this and that, there are some governors that are invited there.
So has the president not been invited to the northern region?
It is not about invitation. It's
but
about
we just mentioned that it's about invitation.
You see, they are giving religious coloration, they are giving political coloration to a lot of things that is happening. You must be invited before you can be able to do something. Look at what Soludo did. When you are talking about Monday sit down at home. It was Enugu State governor that started it, that said they must stop it. And when immediately Soludo goes the second time, do you know what he did? He made sure that he has told them so many times, and he said to them, any school that closes on Monday, he is going to close it down. Any shop that closes on Monday, and he went to that market, Donija market, and he closed it down. And he said he's going to probably make it to be something else. If they don't want to work, they should sit down in their home. Why only Monday? So for you to know how some governor can be proactive and make sure they need insecurity in the ball.
All right. So let's put it together. I'll delve away very quickly from security, because I tell you for a fact, if this administration is going to be judged, which is still being judged now, a lot of persons are going to put on the scorecard security and insecurity. It's going to be a major thing to consider if this administration is able to drive us.
And there are a lot of people to defend that. We have seen it in some television station whereby all those questions are being asked and they are being dealt with accordingly.
I wanted you to score your party.
It is not about being scored. It's not about being scored. Okay, it's doing excellently well. That's why I told you that what is now happening. You have given the example of Oyo State. What about other states as well? We have seen what happened in Kwara State. We have seen how they are doing beautifully in Kogi State. That is why I said to you, you must do it according to the state. It is not that you are going to lay all the problem
And then,
in the doorstep of the president.
Then we will propose that the president does not come out to speak about security as if it's something he can handle anymore.
He has been speaking about it.
It's apparent that
his head has been speaking about it all the time.
So let's move on very quickly for one of time.